Hello everybody, thank you so much for being again here with me. Thank you so much for your time and your attention during this video. Today's topic is the 4 different taxation systems around the world. The reason why I wanted to cover this topic is because lately I've been getting a lot of messages from Americans who are unsure about whether they actually still need to lodge their tax returns when they move overseas. And the answer to that question is founded upon the 4 different taxation systems around the world. So let's jump into it and I'll answer that question right now. So actually, Americans, when you guys move abroad, you still need to lodge your tax returns. Even if you've lived overseas for 5 years or whatever it is, you'll forever have to lodge tax returns in the States. The only option you have is to maybe potentially give up your citizenship if that is an option for you. Only then will your tax obligations stop within America for you. Now, that is the case because the States is founded upon the citizenship-based taxation system. Only about 2 countries are founded upon this model. I think it's America for sure, and Eritrea, and maybe another Asian country, Myanmar. It's kind of fluctuating. Anyway, the citizenship-based taxation system basically says as long as you are a citizen of that country, meaning as long as you have a passport of that country, you have a tax obligation with that country and you're required to lodge your tax returns there forever for as long as you hold that citizenship. So as I said, the only options that you have to get out of that system is to actually give up your citizenship. In saying that, America does have a few exemptions that are available to Americans who live abroad. That will be the subject of another video that I'll do. Now let's just cover the basis of the 4 taxation-based systems. Now, the second taxation system is the residency-based taxation system. That is applicable to most Western countries. It's applicable to Canada, Australia, UK, many Western countries. What the residency-based taxation system means is that as soon as you get residency within a country, you actually become a tax resident thereof, and therefore you have to lodge your tax returns within that country. So that makes a lot of sense to most. It basically means if you're Australian and you move overseas, you establish a life overseas somewhere, then you become a new tax resident of that country, also a resident of that country. Maybe you have a visa, a permit, a long-term permit to live there as well, and that will trigger a tax obligation with that new country of yours. Therefore, you don't necessarily have to lodge tax returns anymore in your old home country, but you do have a new tax obligation with your new home country. That is a very popular system within most countries. Now, the third taxation-based system is the territorial-based taxation system. As the word says, it means really that country taxes only whatever is made within its territory. That's why it's called territorial-based system. So meaning everything that comes from foreign source, everything that is made overseas, whether it's clients that are overseas or business overseas, whatever income is made from overseas isn't going to be taxed within that country because, again, it relies on a territorial-based system. Panama, for example, is one of those countries where you can live in Panama, be a Panamanian tax resident, and because they apply territorial tax system, you don't have to pay any taxes on whatever sources you make coming from the outside of the territory. So if your clients are overseas, if your business is overseas, you don't have to pay any taxes on it. Only if you have a business established within Panama, if you're, I don't know, selling shoes or have a shop within Panama, only then will you have to pay taxes on that income in Panama. So that was the third taxation system. The fourth taxation system is basically no taxes at all. So that we can find in a lot of Gulf states and also in a lot of Caribbean islands, some African countries as well. So to summarize again, the first taxation system was the citizenship-based taxation system, which is America, Eritrea, and maybe some other Asian countries. The second taxation system was the residency-based taxation system, which can be found in most countries around the world. The third tax system is the territorial-based taxation system that only taxes income that is made within its territory. And the fourth one was the one where they don't apply any taxes at all, which is really great and exists around the world in a few countries in the Gulf states, Caribbean islands, and African countries such as Western Sahara, Somalia. Now, there are some mixes of those systems, and in that case it becomes a little bit more difficult to figure out what income is actually getting taxed and what income isn't getting taxed. So I just quickly want to mention those systems so you guys will have heard about it, but I'll make another video about it where I'll go deeper into it. One of those systems is the non-dom system, which stands for non-domiciled system, which is sort of a mix between the residency-based system and the territorial-based system. And then the second other kind of mixed system is called the remittance-based system. That one can be found mostly within Asian countries such as Thailand, even Singapore. As I said, I won't go further into it in this video, but I hope you've gotten a better understanding about the 4 different taxation systems and how they actually influence whether or not you need to lodge a tax return and whether or not you still have a tax obligation with your old home country whenever you decide to move away, especially for you Americans. So if you've learned something new, if you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, share it with other people who could benefit from this knowledge. I know personally I have quite a few American friends who actually had no idea about this, that they still have a tax obligation when they move away from America, which can come back at them and bite them in the butt. Anyway, I hope you learned something, and thank you so much again for your time and for your attention. See you guys!